Little Digmoor is a small housing estate in Skelmersdale, which is a new town in West Lancashire. And it was a place where people really didn't want to live. At the start of the project, there was a visioning event was held down on the estate. The top priority was the environment. We want to live in a place which looks better and which is nicer. Secondly, they were very keen on promoting activities for leisure amongst young people. There was some money spent on, or there was some money set aside as a priority for community safety. And finally, it was identified that there was a need to put in some community infrastructure there, because none existed. And that all started off by creating Little Digmoor Community Association, which has been a key element to the success of the project going forward.
The first girl that come was Jane Lloyd, and she asked a couple of us, to all have a meeting. We wanted to get involved with doing something with the estate, and that's how it started off.
I don't know how, I can't remember actually how or who asked me, or I just can't remember that part, but we did just get involved.
I wasn't the secretary of 10 years ago, and I had no confidence. And then the secretary's position came and I got voted on for it.
I was interested to see how the money would be spent and what kind of a difference it would have made.
We decided after about a year of being into the fair shares money that any decisions that we would make about anything that was done on the estate, that we would put it out to the whole estate, 440 houses, and let them have a vote.
We'd put ideas in, and then we'd put it out and ask the people what did they want, and we'd go off the feedback of the estate.
We went round with all the voting slips, took them to people's houses.
And then we'd count the votes on what they decided was going ahead.
I think there's only been 2 votes where they've actually said no. But to me, it's a more democratic thing.
Well, I think it makes a big difference, because it's not just saying that as the committee we're deciding. It's the whole of the estate that's deciding, and it keeps an even balance across the estate. There's no one can say they've done this and decided on their own. If a vote comes in, it's made by everybody on the estate, and we have to abide by that.
For a start, it was a great way of advertising the fact that this was going to happen, because people got through their letterbox a bit of paper that says, we intend to spend X thousands of pounds on this project, do you support it or not? So as an awareness raising tool, it was brilliant. But I think more importantly, the people who were members of the Little Digmoor Community Association, they felt much more happier in their decision making when they knew they had a local democratic mandate behind them to say, yes, we, the majority who've taken the trouble to vote, support this project. And I think that was probably the most important thing we did.
You walk out your door and you see an eyesore of these gardens, which it was, and now you walk out your door and it's lovely. At first you used to knock and you say, look, we're putting planters in. Would you mind looking after them? And they said, yeah. And then, sometimes they did, sometimes they didn't. So what we did was we then encouraged them. We said, if you look after your gardens, we will give you tools. And at Martin's request, we also give them sweatshirts. But so we gave them tools, and it still took ages. And then, because I walk around a lot, and I was thinking, as I say, because of these weeds, and I'd seen them, and I thought, well, I better go and do something about them. And when I went, I was amazed that these people had actually gone in and actually weeded all the planters. So then I took a walk around all the other gardens, and some of it, like pretty well established, and every one of them had taken ownership. And it was great, and it was a great feeling for me.
I think in the early days, when there was so much unrest on the estate, residents were very suspicious of the council and thought that they would never get anything done, nothing would ever improve. But since Fair Shares money has been there, and they've been able to see the improvements and been able to see us working with the board to bring these improvements about, I think they now trust the council a lot more.
To me, the Fair Shares money was brilliant, because what it meant was that areas that we couldn't tackle, the community could actually own, design and actually change, and what a difference it's made.
It's enabled us to create better relationships, because we've involved the council in everything we've done, and we've actually got the council, all these gardens we've got done, which are the big ones, not the small ones, the council have put them now on their, their maintenance list, You know, and I think, so I've learned that if you go to people and you ask them nice, that people really do want to help. Do you think that the council and the residents of Little Digmoor will be able to sustain the relationship that they formed over the last 10 years?
Yeah, I think they will. I think relationship is probably the key word. We've created some good working relationships. I don't see any change in people here, and if we've got the resources to help, we will. And it's really finding a way, and the local residents know who to contact, because half the battle is understanding what the issues are and dealing with them.
Yeah. What I have learnt is who exactly to go to when we have problems, because we never used to know. But if someone comes to me now with a problem, I do know, you know, without being blowing my own trumpet, I do know that I can pick the phone up and I know exactly who to go to. And if I don't, I know who to go to help me. You know, it's built up a smashing relationship with the council.
When we first started over 4 years ago, sports development was based at the Fold Centre. So we linked in with sports development because they often ran lots of competitions and formed links with police, with other youth clubs, with sports centres and other local clubs. So we were able to ride on the back of that and get our children involved with all of the activities that sports development put on. But it also gave us a good basis working with other schools and working with the head teachers. So the message was being put out there that the youth club was a really good place with lots of different diversity and activities that the kids could take part in. I think the youth club has a massive impact on all of the children that attend and the parents of the children. It's built an awful lot of bridges, not just with the children from the estate, but children from other estates. And I think it gives a better community cohesion. Okay, you two boys have been coming to the Fold Youth Club for quite some time. What is it that you like about the youth club?
It's a good place to socialise.
I like it because there's plenty of activities to keep me occupied, and I can come and see friends that I haven't seen in a while, like from primary school.
We are running currently a mentor scheme, so the kids that have been coming for over 4 years are now coming up to 16, 17, and I think our best policy is because they've been coming to the Fold from such an early age, they know the benefits and they know how good the Fold Youth Club is to mentor them, and if we can get them skilled up, then they are our future. I think they've outgrown the youth club now, and I think the next step is for them to actually become the youth club and run the youth club.
Committee members of Little Digmoor Fair Share Committee came to us in early 2008 with the idea of opening a computer suite to allow the residents of Little Digmoor access to the internet, basic computer learning, job searches and access to online services. The computer suite has been a great success. The Fair Share Committee also thought it would be a good idea to run a computer class for the children of the area in conjunction with the Children's Activity Club on a Wednesday. This was a complete success, with every computer being filled every Wednesday evening.
My name is Vicky Frost. I work for Age UK as a support worker. Age UK has been providing older people a lunch club for the past 4 years once a week. Serving a 2-course meal for only £3, it gives a chance for the older people of Digmoor community to come together and build on old friendships and make new ones. We aim to bring people all together and prevent social isolation, better health and well-being. The food is prepared and cooked locally by a team of volunteer cooks.
It's absolutely brilliant. It is cheap. I couldn't put on a meal like that for myself. There's no hassle. I meet new friends. There's one chap in particular who came down. The first week or so he came in, had his meal and left. But since coming there, he's come out of himself, he's more confident, he's joined the gardening club and he's quite enjoying himself now, and he's getting out and about a lot more than what he was.
How did you get involved with Beavers?
When the Beavers started back in 2008, I had 2 children that wanted to go. So I volunteered to be a parent helper. Well, after volunteering, I found out that the group would actually close if they couldn't find a leader. So myself and my stepdaughter, Leanne, volunteered to be leaders. When I first became a leader, I didn't believe I'd be able to do it. I lacked confidence really badly. I found it really hard to stand up in front of the children. I kept stammering and looking at the floor. Since then, I've stood up in front of whole schools now in assemblies and talked about scouting. I'm really proud of being a member of the scouting movement, but most of all, I'm really proud of the Beavers and Cubs and what they've achieved.
When I was 8, I went climbing with my school and I really didn't enjoy it. Since then, I've went climbing with Cubs and I enjoyed it much more. I found that I got much more support off Cubs than with my classmates. I think this is because Cubs is something you choose to do and it's much more fun. I am planning to become a leader and get my Queen's Scout Award.
For the future, I think the main thing that the leaders of these groups have to do is make sure that we give these kids in this area the chance at that starting point. And no matter what we have to do, we have to keep this group going forward.
What is plasticine?
It's a performing arts club which teaches you about acting. On Fridays, they have films and they play games and stuff like that. It's just amazing.
The funding initially was used to open a performing arts academy within Little Digmoor, providing sessions for children of the local area.
Okay, what do you do at plasticine?
Well, we do all sorts of things. Get filmed. He done the extraterrestrial thing. Well, it has to be related to drama, like we did filming.
We done a scene about a teacher that bullies children.
We have academies in a number of different places, and these are one of our main focuses in the company. So it's been great because without that financial support it would have certainly been a challenge to start an academy there. As the work's kind of gone through in Little Digmoor, we've found things that work, we've found things that don't work. We've thought, how can we challenge the way we get around these things? We've also built great relationships now with the local committee and the bodies involved with the project from the CVS, and it's opened our eyes to trying to attract more funding for areas such as Little Digmoor that would usually find it more difficult accessing services such as ours without funding. The most beneficial thing to us has been getting the chance to work with so many different kids and seeing if we have any impact on their lives. We've had some children for nearly the full 4 years, so we see great changes and growth in those children.
If plasticine was to stop, what would be the one thing you would miss?
Like all stuff. I've missed the games. They've like helped me through all the acting stuff. Everything. Like I said, it's amazing, and if it just stopped, it'd be like terrible. Well, doing drama, because this is really the only chance I really get to do drama.
I'm Robert McKee, PCSO 7656. I've been one of the community officers for the Little Digmoor area for over 4 years now. Since Fair Share started, we have developed a good, strong relationship with outside agencies such as the council, CVS, and just private landlords in general, whereas in the past we didn't really have the facilities to speak to these people. But through meetings, through Fair Shares, we've been able to establish key contacts. During this time of Fair Share, we've had a record low of crime and antisocial behaviour. there's overall about 25% reduction in criminal damage, burglaries, you name it, being done. We are able to solve issues a lot quicker in the area, which has eased community tensions in the process. We've gone in at a young age, and now when they're older, we know all who they are. We get information regularly in the area of all the problems, and because we've done that at an early age, we know who to go and speak to. Without Fair Share, that we wouldn't have been able to sort of do that because the clubs wouldn't be there in the process.
I think one of the most telling things that I can say about the project is that somebody said, well, my vision is that for Little Digmoor to become a place where people want to live rather than leave.
Previously there was no waiting list. It wasn't a place where new people wanted to come into and take up residence there. Currently we've got 568 people on the waiting list, so I think those figures in themselves show the way the area has changed, and people now want to not only stay there but move into the area.
Seen a tremendous change on the estate. Children more well behaved. Speed bumps have been introduced to control the traffic. The estate is a lot cleaner, and the gardens are now being tended to.
Little Digmoor has really been transformed, I think, over the last 10 years. And some of that has definitely got to do with the fact that Fair Share's money was available, but actually more importantly, that the community came together and said, look, what we can do with this money to help to promote and develop and make our community a better place.